So, you probably are wondering what's wrong with your Genji. On the stadiums right now, you're having the problem of either losing a lot of games, feeling useless, getting outpaced by all other 3 DPSs in your game, and you're starting to doubt yourself, blame the builds, blame the meta, and I'm here to assure you that yes, one, it is the meta. Hitscan bias is the current meta for stadiums. Two, you probably suck at pathing your builds. And 3, you're not utilizing your builds correctly. And in this video, I'm going to be updating the 3 builds I made and add another build on top of them and tell you how to correctly path to them this time and the right strategy on how to make sure you actually play well with these builds. Let's begin the YAP session. Let's talk about third person really quick here, because a lot of people are still debating, is third person good on Genji or not? You just have to understand how the crosshair system works for third person on Overwatch. The shurikens aren't being shot from the middle of your screen. Since Genji is off the center, the shurikens come off from his head. That means when you're close to people, look on where Genji is and where they are. Don't look at where the crosshair is. The crosshair is gonna cause an inaccuracy to you, okay? Also, I recommend FOV 80 on Genji, so you can see enough, but you're still close enough to see who's actually close to Genji. That means when you're playing melee, you only need to look on where Genji is and not on where the crosshair is. See, the crosshair is right here. A lot of you will try to adjust it right here. You don't need to. This will hit. See? Oh my god, the diff.
Mercy. Please.
Honest to God, it's everywhere. So we're gonna start with the poke build. Again, we're gonna go through the same rotation, but this time I'm gonna tell you how exactly you want to build towards these and why you should even consider the poke build as Genji, right? Powers. First round, you start cybernetic speed. Cybernetic speed is gonna be your main way of poking. You're trying to poke a lot. I used to say primary 5 is good, but no, that is not actually right. I'm sorry for that. I think cybernetic by far is the highest way of like making sure you get the most amount of money while still being neutrally powerful. The reason why cybernetic is good is because the more you're poking against enemies, the more you get more damage. I know it sounds self-explanatory, but a lot of you forget. Poke build is not going to be carrying you at the beginning of the game, okay? It's not going to... You're basically playing neutral Genji, but a little bit faster. Think of it that way. Think of it as like normal Overwatch Genji, but you're playing a little bit faster than normal. That's it. And you have a little more ammo. You're going to build Sacred Shuriken right afterwards. Moving on, you're going to build Dragon's Breath right afterwards. And now, this is what I like to do with every single build. I always like to make it so you have one last power-up that's up to you. And I know you're here for this video thinking, hey, I don't want to choose for myself. I need you to choose for me. No, you're going to choose for yourself. If there's a Genji, Yida Strike is good. It's going to make sure so every duel you pick with Genji, you have an advantage once deflects end. 2. Laceration, not a bad thing. It's always kind of pretty good, especially against tankier enemies, especially if you're building ability power alongside the poke Genji. 3, Hanamura healing. It's fine. It's not bad. 4, sorry. Worm's Maw. Worm's Maw is by far the one that I kind of like opt to naturally, because it's just basically everything you're doing here just gets rewarded by this, right? Because you're just constantly trying to poke, and since you're poking, you're stacking up a lot of damage for Swift Strike. A lot of people don't realize that there's actually hybrid builds, okay? You can make hybrid builds work on Genji. Again, it just requires you to know when is it going to be useful. First round is going to look like this. Compensator, Plasma Converter, and Ammo Reserves, right? So you want to take all these 3, and you should be good for first round. As for the second round, you're going to be selling ammo reserves, and you're going to get aftermarket firing pin and talent modification module. The reason why you're not getting stockpile is 25 max ammo is beautiful, but you're now going to refund that because you want more attack speed, therefore you're going to deal even more damage. Movement speed is really good addition to it because it's just like, it's there. You want the 10% attack speed, and it happens to give you move speed. Don't complain, right? Talent modification module is really good because you want more weapon power. If you don't want this one, you can play it a little safer and get Techno Leech, which leaves you with another 1000, and you can get attack speed, so you can have even more attack speed, 15. If you don't want that, you can get max ammo instead. Third round is optional. You have 2 paths to take. Weapon Jammer is usually what you want to go for. If you have 10,000, you should have 10,000 unless you're butt cheeks. So Weapon Jammer is really good. You deal damage, you take away attack speed, and you gain more attack speed. And it's for 2 seconds, but don't worry about the 2 seconds. You're gonna constantly be poking. You're literally throwing shurikens on a machine gun, okay? Also, 25 armor is not bad. It's right there. It's gonna help you. But if you have more ammo, ignore Weapon Jammer and going straight for Eye of the Spider. I had a stroke. Eye of the Spider is really good. 25% weapon power. It's the highest weapon power epic item that gives you 10% increased damage to enemies below 30% lifesteal, so that gives you more of an incentive to go into people and actually do combos and maybe get a kill, right? Because you're going to be having around 40 to 45% weapon power depending on how you pick your abilities so far, right? And also always keep the plasma converter on the side until you need more space and you're clogging up your inventory. That's when you sell it, and you want to opt for this instead, right? I'm talking like XQC. Round 4 is self-explanatory. Whichever ability you didn't pick on round 3, you pick on round 4. So if you didn't pick this one, you pick it now. If you didn't pick this one, you pick it now, and you're pretty much set. You're not gonna have enough money for anything else. If you can't pick it, and you also don't have a blue one, so you take the blue one, and you can take the stockpile, but I don't recommend that. I'd recommend just getting booster jets if you want more attack speed. So you're gonna have a 30 to 30% split, which is completely fine because this is actually up to like, I believe this is up to 70% attack speed, because this is 30% attack speed total. Is on top of the 10% you steal from someone, that is gonna be 70% attack speed. It's really good. But going back to round 4, this is exactly what you want to have. If you don't have this and you can't afford Techno Leech, that's fine. Just remember to stick to a Plasma Converter. Your items should look like this. On to round 5. Right, so you have an option. If you don't have enough money to get your 3rd epic, I do finally recommend you sell Techno Leech or Plasma Converter, and hopefully by then you have enough money to get booster jets. If you don't want the attack speed, you don't have to. I just like the attack speed a lot more because it goes really well with Dragon's Breath. But if you don't want the attack speed, go for survival and take Phantasmic Flux. This gives you more of that neutral power, but also gives you a lot more sustain as Genji, like an insane amount of sustain. If you don't want this one and you want to really focus on Dragon Blade, by this round, Transference Data, highly recommended. Minus 15% cooldown reduction, 100 armor into health using Dragon Blade. So really, you're just gonna be a Dragon Blade machine, right? When you're Dragon Blade, half this is gonna go like this. This much of this HP is gonna be armor. I'm gonna go with booster jets. It's what I recommend in your round 5, so you should pretty much be by the end game. You should even have more than this, and I really do believe if you played really well, not even like hard carry, just played really well with this build because it makes the most amount of money out of every build, you can get Techno Leech, right? So this is technically what you have: 3 blues, 3 purples. Okay, round 6, you're gonna sell that blue, and you're gonna look for another purple. This point on, you have 3 more options. Okay. You have Codebreaker, ignore 50% armor damage. I highly recommend you press tab and check the enemy team builds by now. If you don't do that every round, you're honestly missing out on a lot of information. This is really good. You can take it if they have armor. If you don't want it, you can start building a little bit of ability power. I highly recommend up to like 30 to 40% ability power is more than enough for this build. And you can kind of stay with these 2 stats. You just kind of focus on ability power. So this is where you become hybrid. And you want to like branch off and know how cobwebs work, because you want to look at ability power. Champion's Kit, if you can afford it. Highly don't think you can afford it by now, honest to God. It's too expensive. So maybe at round 7 you can, and that's when you want to get it. But right now, you want to look at ability power, and you have 2 options. Either get dealing ability damage that applies 30% healing reduction. Really good, because that means while you're blading, they're not going to be able to heal out of it. They're not going to be able to sustain out of it. And your poke constantly keeps them your dash constantly keeps them off of that. There is a weapon variant, but you have to hit critical attacks, and that's kind of better just for melee and not for poke. So you can go for the sustain. You can get more attack speed by using an ability, which I could also recommend if the enemies have a lot of overhealth abilities, like Queen, Lucio, and Mercy. This is kind of good because overhealth does increase your damage percentage to the target's life. Overhealth does count. Technically, it's temporary health, but it's in the game system, it registers it as actual HP. And I think 53,000 is really something you would have by round 6, or is it round 5? So yeah, this is kind of what your build is gonna look like. By round 7, I'm gonna assume you still don't have enough money to get all purples unless you were excelling. I will show you what it's like on all purples, but I'm being realistic here. So you're gonna get Codebreaker, Fusion Drive. I want to go like this. This is a really optimal Genji build. I'm not even kidding. You don't want Codebreaker. They don't really have armor. You can get Enduring Edge, or you can get the Transference Delta by round 7. Okay, Enduring Edge instead. Make it really a Dragon Blade build, right? With the poke. Or you can emphasize more on the ability power. Now your Dragon Blade hits super fast, hits like a fucking truck, scales insanely, heals you a lot. You're good, right? You don't want this. You want more sustain. Get the survival Phantasmic Flux. See, a lot of options on how to build Genji right now. These are good stats. These are hybrid builds. This is how I took the poke build and forced it into how it can adapt depending on your situation. Right, I forgot to show you guys the build without the camera because I didn't realize the camera was covering it. This is what the build is going to look like for poke. Not one-to-one, but like this is an example of the many items that I told you that can make it look. I think this is one of the most optimal ones by far though. Like this exact one is pretty good because it's like hybrid, has enough ability power, weapon power, attack speed is insane, like seriously insane. This can go up to 80%. 80%. If you Dragon Blade while you're at 80%, plus there's a critical or a mercy, you are a machine gun. You are the hit scan, okay? You are the Punisher. You're the judge, jury, executioner. This is ASMR Soul. I'm here to tell you that we actually have a Discord channel, and I would love to have you guys there so you can get notified for upcoming events and streams. Yeah, just that. That's all. Also, press like and subscribe and share this to your grandma. There we go. There we go. One-shot melee build. Everyone's favorite build, it seems. Yaido Strike, first ability. You want to start becoming a duelist, right? One-shot build is very duelist. It's very dependent on you being the guy that solo carries everybody. The Sung Jin Woo of the fucking game. You're aura farming. Hidden Blade. And this is where you get creative. You can get Hanamura healing right afterwards, or Hanamura healing can go on the second one, depending on how fast you're going. Hanamura healing goes really well with Ambusher Optics. The fourth option being completely up to you, depending on how the game is going, right? So it's gonna definitely be either Laceration or Deflect, Forged on the Fire. Hashimoto's Bane could be good. I'm not gonna say no. It can be good. I know it's 50% less damage, but it is 2 more shurikens on top of the one-shot attacks, right? But that's only if you're gonna consistently throw your one-shots. So let's give you the benefit of the doubt and say you're gonna go with Laceration, right? You're gonna move to round 1. It's gonna be weapon power, ability, and weapon lifesteal. Now I know some of you are like, wait, Soul, why didn't you get a Siphon Gloves? Siphon Gloves is good. It's not bad, but on the first round, your melee isn't going to do anything. There's no difference. Your melee is not going to do anything. You're going to focus on Yaido Strike being the carry for this build at the beginning, right? So you're either abusing the bug. The bug in question is this, where you hold your Dragon Blade. Everybody knows how to do it now. It's no secret. In case you don't know and you've been living under a rock, you deflect, you wall climb, or you deflect and you dash, and then it holds your blade. Holds your blade, basically, you see how your ult is right there? You're not going to use ult, it's going to prioritize the Yaido Strike. So you're going to swing once, and then you can do it again, and then you're going to swing twice. The reason why I took it 10% ability power is because ability power seems to be the highest stat that scales properly with blade for some fucking reason. It doesn't say it, but it does the most. Moving on to the second round, pathing is going to be similar to poke build because I want Techno Leech. I want more of that weapon lifesteal. I need that survivability. I need to be able to duel. But if you don't want Techno Leech, you can always opt for Talent Modification Module. You don't really want the attack speed. It's not that useful. You're going to go immediately to survival and you're going to get something, right? Convert 100 health into armor. It's pretty good. So you can, again, last longer while you're fighting these duels. If you don't want that, if you have enough money to get Codebreaker by round 2, I highly recommend just skipping all I said and just getting that. It's really good. Your biggest nemesis for this build is armor. That is your biggest nemesis, other than bubble, obviously. But like, your biggest nemesis is armor. It's gonna tank a lot of the damage you're dealing. You're trying to burst people down. So, but yeah, this is how your build is gonna be looking like on round 2. If you don't have enough, I recommend selling one of these, because it's also compensated by this regardless. You're going to lose a stat, but really you're just stabilizing the same stats. You're not actually losing any stat. Here's what I like to do. I like to sell everything every round. The reason why I like to sell everything every round is so I can get a proper grasp on how much money I have and what can I actually buy and what can I, like, take back with me, right? It's really efficient, right? So round 3, you're gonna be making around 22 to 23,000 if you're playing properly. Again, every round you should be making 10 to 11 to 12k. So your build is gonna look like this. Right, this is what round 3 is gonna look like. You're gonna have Codebreaker, Ambusher Optics, Compensator, Armored Vest, First Aid Kit. Survival is really good for you as Genji in this game, okay? 4th round, you're gonna be going for more of the pink things. So you're gonna get closer. And here's where a lot of people are torn. A lot of people either get closer or Eye of the Spider, right? I think closer is better because 10% crit damage is extremely good. Extremely good. Like, it's really good. I would normally recommend Suppressor, except for the fact it doesn't apply a healing reduction. This is a bug. This is not because the build is flawed, it's a bug. If your crit here applies anti-heal, but your melee doesn't, then that is a bug from Blizzard. Blizzard, please fix this. I'm tired of your bugs. You already took away an entire power from us so far. So, unfortunately, it doesn't apply it. And the reason why I know that it's a bug is because other abilities that work around crit damage apply themselves. So if I do this, see how I can see him still? Because it's still applying the status effect caused by crit damage from the melee build. So it is working as intended. It's just that the crit healing reduction isn't working as intended. So that is a bug. Unfortunately, another predicament. Because this build really depends a lot on situations. I'm giving you like 3 ways to approach this round, right? So you have either the closer or Eye of the Spider. If you don't want any of these, there's actually Gloom Gauntlet. Gloom Gauntlet is really good. I highly recommend this. If you want more sustain, this is good. But I recommend Gloom Gauntlet a lot more with Hanamura healing on round 3. So if you want Gloom Gauntlet, it's a lot cheaper. It gives you the ability to like maybe squeeze something else. You know, just squeeze something that's 4,000. Maybe squeeze things that are 3,000 total. Alright, so next round. You want to go closer. You might have enough for a talent modification module. If you don't want that and you want more survival, like I said, you can get 100 health into armor. This is okay, but this is very optional. And this is only because if you have an enemy Ana that has the 500% collision sleep, I recommend this. On to the next round. You are gonna sell all blues because you want to know how much you have and how much you can make. Eye of the Spider, it's a no-brainer. If you can't get anything else, that is completely fine. Settle for this. Final round, you're gonna get 1 blue or like the cheapest purple. You're gonna get if you don't have enough money. So really, you want to look for something like either booster jets. So you want to melee a lot more. You're gonna be able to constantly melee, right? It's kind of good. And also, movement speed is really good for Genji, only because if you have movement speed, you can really just do this. A lot of people don't realize having a lot of movement speed in this build is really good because you're going to be able to constantly like do this, so you can swing behind him and do this, right? You want that. You really want that. Because otherwise, a lot of players can just turn around and be like, what are you doing? Another thing I would recommend is Phantasmic Flux. I always recommend this on every build. It's just one of the best epic items, period. So fucking good. It stacks really well with Hanamura healing. See, one stab just blows up your HP. You are not gonna die. 544 HP, motherfucker, you're tanking a nuke. To quickly go over the build, this is what the build looks like, maximized with everything you want. But remember, you can do this if you want. It's a little cheaper, I think. Or you could do this. So really, it caps at 65,000. It's really good. If you don't have enough, you can always get something else like convert 100 health into armor. Like I said, really good.
Good news, you're alive. Good news, you're popping off. Holy shit.
Let's talk about the ability power build. Ability power build is a little special. It's super dependent on 2 things. Your dash and your Dragon Blade. Before we talk about how you build towards this, I'm going to immediately skip ahead and tell you important things about this build. So, you are going to be, if you get Spirit of Sojiro, get Slicey Coolant. So the longer you hold your deflect, the more time you get to make sure you can deflect enough damage to actually get the 5 seconds off your dash, because again, this is a build that orients around dashing a lot and swinging your blade a lot. Okay, let's go back to how you build this. Okay, you had to strike because it stacks with your ability power. It hits like a truck. Dragon's Breath immediately because you want this to deal a lot of damage. The projectile also stacks with ability power, so it's gonna swing as strong. Again, this takes 50% of what your Dragon Blade damage is, okay? So whatever damage your Dragon Blade does, it's just half it, and this is what it does, okay? Swift Strike deals 25 additional damage. This does a lot of damage over time with ability power. And what's crazy is this works really well with Cyber Venom, because the ticking over time constantly resets the healing reduction, right? So keep that in mind. Again, cobweb. And the next thing you want is either Hanamura healing or Forged Under Fire if you really need sustain against beam, or Spirit of Sojiro. You're gonna get weapon power because it's the beginning of the game, and you're gonna get ability power and weapon lifesteal. Again, this is usually the best 3 items you get for Genji for most of the time, right? Round 2, you get custom stock. You get ability power plus attack speed. If you don't want that, you can go to here and get this 100 health. If you don't want that, you can go here and get 15% weapon power, so it puts you up to 25%, because you're not really ability power for the first 2 rounds. Your ability power on the 3rd round. If you have enough money, you can always go for this. I recommend just skipping over this and getting this. So round 3, you're gonna get Tommy Gun, sell everything that's green, see how much money you have. If you have enough money, just skip to Champion's Kit, but I'm pretty sure you're not gonna have enough money. You're probably gonna be 100 short or like 1,000 short. So go for Tommy Gun, right? If you have 2,000 more, 2,000 more, 3,000 more, just get ability power again. If you don't want that, go here, get weapon power, or get weapon lifesteal, or ability lifesteal. This is the optimal thing, and I'm gonna go with this. This is what I'm assuming you're gonna have by round 3. Okay, so round 3, you have a few options. You can either get Cyber Venom for the cooldown reduction and 10% weapon power. Like I said, it also applies a 30% healing reduction, but you don't want to get that. You can easily get something else. You can get Iridescent Iris. It's actually really good. It's really, really good. And now you can move on to survival for a little bit. Just leave the ability power for a bit. Get some sustain, dude. You need the sustain. Trust me, you need sustain. Vital ET, the best one out of all of these. So 4th round, you're gonna sell everything you got, the blue you got, and you're gonna get Champion's Kit. If you still don't have enough for Champion's Kit, you are far behind, which is very bad. Get Junker, Whatchamajig, okay? You're gonna need to get a lot of blades going, okay? You're gonna pump these blades out, buddy. You're gonna have to make some miracles happen to make sure you don't fall behind for this build, okay? Get wrist wraps. Really make sure when you blade, you swing a lot, okay? If you can't, get ability power and ability lifesteal. This is your 4th round, okay? I know you're gonna have residue money, but there's nothing better. You need Champion's Kit. You could look for these. You could maybe get Cyber Venom, but I highly recommend just investing in a lot of ability power as much as you can and getting that ultimate charge. This is the most important thing for 4th round. That's assuming you don't have Champion's Kit. If you have Champion's Kit and you're not far behind, this is what it's gonna look like. You're probably not gonna have enough money for anything else. Round 5, you're gonna have your laceration and stuff. This is where you want to get Cyber Venom, okay? Just get Cyber Venom and keep these 2 with you. Round 6, you're gonna sell that last blue you got. You have 2 options. You can get liquid nitrogen, so when you're dragon blading, people can escape, you can't move around, you're constantly swinging them because it slows them down. Phantasmic Flux is really good. But if the enemy team has a Lucio, and this is really important, if the enemy team has a Lucio or a Mercy, and they constantly ult your ults, you want to get this. Enduring Edge. If you get Enduring Edge and your Dragon Blade goes up to 10 seconds, even if they beat, you're swinging so much, your blade is going to last longer than the beat effect, and it can melt through the beat. And for Mercy, you're going to have enough time to constantly swing at the Mercy to eventually kill her while she's still flying around. This is really important. Enduring Edge is a make or break depending on enemy comps. Even with Zarya Bubbles, it's a make or break for Zarya Bubbles. If you don't want this and they don't have any of that, you can actually go booster jets. Get that attack speed going and start swinging like crazy. This is really good. Look how much you're melting from afar. This isn't like actually you like doing this. This is not even you doing the neutral. Just you from afar, just constantly hitting people and making a lot of damage happen just from afar. The best combo with Dragon Blade in this is to send one, dash in, send one, hit one, and it does a lot of damage, right? This is the best build. This is the combo you can do for Genji as well, right? It applies healing reduction because of the ability power. and a lot of that. If you do it with the Yaida strike, you can do this, wait for it to come back, dance around. I don't know what you want to do, but you can do this, right? This is the optimal combo. One last time, this is what the build looks like, and this is because I opted for Enduring Edge, assuming there's a Lucio or Mercy and you want to be a Blade Machine fucking god, you build like this, okay? This video is sponsored by my Twitch follower goal. I will be wearing a maid outfit and doing a lot of events with the community when I'm doing that. Appreciate it if you guys hit the follower goal on Twitch, which is 1,000 followers, and I hope to see you guys there.